There's some organisms that are going to be actively reproducing, carrying out important ecosystem services. Now the other end of the spectrum is that you're a moment away from death, right? But somewhere in the middle is where dormancy is taking place. There's this transition region between life and death, and maybe this is how it relates to this concept of undead and zombie-like organisms. Microbiologists have known that there are certain species that can use this dormancy strategy through formation of spores. So the purpose of our paper was try to get a better handle on how prevalent this life history strategy is for microbes, which comprise the vast majority of life on Earth. For example, soils, we found that 90% of all the bacterial cells in those environments were metabolically inactive or dormant. Can also think about that in terms of the number of species. So I mentioned that in some cases there may be 50,000 species in a single sample of soil, and our estimates suggest that maybe half of those aren't really active at any given point in time. We use sequencing of all the genes and all of the populations and species in a given habitat, and we're able to document if there are known genes that are involved mechanistically in the entrance into dormancy and the exiting from dormancy. And so by studying things like E. coli and Mycobacterium, we know there are certain genes that regulate the dormancy process. And so we were able to find those dormancy mechanisms in existing metagenomes of those different ecosystems. So right now we have snapshots of in terms of estimating how prevalent dormancy can be. But what we really need to do is the next step would be to explore the dynamics, the temporal dynamics of dormancy. Another thing we have to do is try to potentially learn about what the mechanisms of dormancy are in natural environments. There's tens of thousands of species in nature, and it's very likely that there are other diverse mechanisms that allow species to enter and exit from dormant stages. And so we need to potentially understand what those different mechanisms are. When we think about global climate change, microbes are pretty integral to the whole process and prediction and understanding what's going to happen under different climate change scenarios. Published data suggests that, again, that maybe 90% of soil bacteria may be metabolically inactive. So this really fundamentally changes how we think about the contribution of microorganisms to global biogeochemical cycles, and potentially how systems would change under shifting climate regimes, for example.